And just like that, it's Friday morning. I'm going to start by putting the heat film stuff onto the skin, the top skin of the bonnet, just to stop that direct heat from the engine going up and cooking it. So I've given that a good scuff up already. I got my metho onto it to get rid of any kind of oils, etc. I'm pretty much just going to hit it with my high heat Dupli color black paint, and then once that's done, the heat shield will go onto these panels with the exposed skin. I'm not going to do heat over these pieces because well, that's kind of acting as a shield to that panel anyway, so there's no point. So I'm going to get onto that. I've covered that so I don't get overspray on it. So I don't spray the wall, I'm just going to rotate this around as I need to spray it. But any hooties, I'm going to get onto it and get this part of the bonnet finished. And there we have it. All the framework is now black. It looks nice and clean. The edges will remain white. Like I said, I'm going to mask the whole black section of this when I come to spray the underside again, so it keeps it nice and clean. The cowl up there is all nice and sorted. And yeah, I wanted to do it white. But because I had the heat-proof paint laying around, which I used for the exhaust actually, I thought I'd do the same here because this area of the car is going to experience a bit of heat, obviously, it's the engine under it. But in a few minutes this will dry. This is going to end up like a matte black. And when it does look matte, it's going to be good enough for me to play with it. I'm just going to get my templates and start cutting out these pieces for the heat proofing. Actually, while that's drying, because there's no point playing with it while it's wet, I'll ruin it, I'm going to go and get started on the rear suspension install. I'm just going to do whatever I feel I need to do while I got time to do it. So the video is going to be all over the place, but we'll get there. Alright, and now time for the undoing of the old suspension. It's pretty straightforward. The top of this strut just pokes through a hole in the wheel arch. I undid the top nut, that already fell through when I dropped the actual diff. Gotta undo this bolt here, which is just loosely on anyway, and install the new ones, and then pump it back up again and tighten the top. It's pretty simple. These shocks are stuffed. They don't even come back out automatically. While I'm at it, I thought I would just do a little bit more dampening on these springs. The top has the rubber mold, which I'm pretty happy about because these are pretty much impossible to get. The bottom doesn't though. All I'm going to do is get some rubber hose, rubber tube, fuel line, garden hose, just something that I can cut a slice in and wrap it over this bottom piece. And as that hose sits on the outside of the spring, that'll give me the absorption to stop any kind of creaks or annoying tingy-tangy noises that you hear in these old suspension setups. So I'll go find something to do that now. I think I found just the thing here. This looks like an old heater hose that's in my parts bins. So I'm going to cut the right length just to wrap around this once. I'm going to splice it right down the center fold it on top, and there is my rear suspension rubber mount completed. Make sure you get this cut line on the other side of the spring, because that's where it's going to be sitting. You don't want that cut line opening up on you. So I probably should have done that before I put it on, but it's just a matter of rotating it as best you can while it's on there. Alright, so the shocks are in, the rubber mounts are on the bottom of the springs, everything's back in place. Now it's just a matter of, make sure, yeah, so all the shocks, I'm happy they're kind of yellowish orange, it kind of matches underneath the rest of the car. So now it's the top hat pieces. You pretty much just want to make sure that the rubber that's underneath the chassis has lined up and popped through the metal, which that one has seated itself well. This one, not so much. Give it a bit of a push and a pull. There we go, that's now centered. So this one can go back over the top. And then the plate and the nut. And it's just a matter of tightening down, tightening down the nuts. And we're in business. So I'll do that right now. She's down. It's important not to go too far on these because you're not going to hit a metal stop. You're literally just squishing rubber together endlessly, so don't go too hard. I'd suggest just taking the rubber grommet out to where the end of the washer is, or just before the end. That way you know you're not going to cause any damage to them. But the rear shocks are now in. I actually have shock absorbers, where the old ones didn't even work at all, so looking forward to being comfortable. Sweet. Back to the hood, which should have dried now. Alright, now that it's nice and dry, which is wonderful, it's time to lay in some of these pieces that I need to chop up and put them on the skin. Let's get to it. Now I've got that down, we're going to go around the edges with the tape and just make sure that it's nice and sealed up over the flat lips around the second skin of the hood. So I'll get to do that now and hopefully it tidies it up real nice. Alright, this is going to take some time. It's a bit tedious, but it definitely makes a difference on the job. So that's what it looks like with the heat insulation just stuck straight on. But when you take a bit of time and you put some tape edging around the whole lot to really seal it in place, it also stops any kind of junk from getting up into this second skin. And then you kind of mask it like masking tape and then just cut off the edges. It looks a heck of a lot better in my opinion. So I think the whole hood I'm gonna have to do in this fashion. I'm gonna do it now. I've got other things I want to do, but I got to get this out of the way, and if I don't do it now, I will not get around to doing it again. So I'll come back to you when it's all finished. And there you have it. That actually looks pretty good. I'm very happy with the way that's come out. Not that it's going to be a show car or anything like that, but you know, when the bonnet is open, it won't look so ridiculous. The tape has gone on really well around the edges to hold all of the heat insulation in. The matte black paint looks really cool against it as well. So that's $88, $86 all up I spent. It was $20 for the 45 meter roll of tape, and I'm only halfway through it, probably not even. $66 for the heat insulation, and I still have enough left to do the boot. So yeah, for $86, that's killer. The bonnet looks awesome, the interior of the car looks awesome, the boot's going to look awesome. So I'm pretty happy with that. So what have we got? We've got the rear suspension in, tick. We've got the bonnet underside ready to go. When I get my hinges, I'll be able to install it on the car. Not that this is going to go on the car anytime soon. This is going to be like the last thing on the whole entire build that'll go on will be the bonnet. But yeah, rear suspension, the bottom of the hood. I can't remember what else I've done today. Probably missed something, but regardless, I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully my stuff rocks up.